What up, ZA? This is your boy Frostbite, and I'm just bringing you a post Call of Duty Champs commentary. For those of you who don't know what the Call of Duty Champs was, basically it was a 32-team international tournament held in LA for Black Ops 2. And just to kick off this commentary, this is a scrum against ALV, I think in the second week of the M-Web ladder. Before I start this, I just want to thank all our sponsors for the event. I mean, without them it wouldn't have been possible for us to go over. So I'd like to thank Scuf Gaming for Scuf controllers, Astro Gaming for Astro headsets, GamingCartel for organizing basically those two sponsorships, and M-Web and Holden for hosting the event and communicating with the internationals to make sure we get a place at this tournament. So basically this commentary, a bunch of people asked me a lot of questions and a lot of general questions, so I thought I'd just answer them in the commentary as well as just explain how the experience was being at such a big Call of Duty event. The first question is, what equipment did we use? So that's why I kicked off with the sponsorship. Our first bit of equipment we used was obviously Scuf controllers. Now for those of you who don't know what Scuf controllers are, they're basically the competitive standard for controllers being used by all professionals and amateurs for mainly Call of Duty. They have features such as button mapping and trigger stops, which really help competitive Call of Duty. So the next question is, what was the setup like? The setup was really awesome. They went for a sort of different approach to MLG, from what I hear, where they didn't have many spectators, so they wanted to focus it more centrally and get it onto a stream. So there were a lot of shoutcasters in their own booths on the side of the arena, and then there were lots of stages. I think they were called Alpha, Bravo, Charlie stages. I think it went up to Echo, Delta or Echo stages. And basically your pools, it was 8 pools of 4 teams that played, and you rotated on those stages, playing in a sort of World Cup format, group format, and then it went into last 16 double elimination. Turtle Beach was the main sponsor, so you had to use a Turtle Beach mixed amp, which means you basically just plugged your headset, whatever headset you had, into the Turtle Beach mixed amp. They also had TM1 mixers, which allowed all the headsets, you could communicate directly with no latency between the headsets and not through the video, not through Call of Duty itself. So that means in S&D you can also chat while you're dead. The screens that were used were the BenQ monitor with 1 millisecond response rate, so those screens were really nice. And that brings me on to the next question from a guy. He said he usually plays on a 42-inch screen, but because smaller is harder to play on, he wants to know what was it like, playing on those smaller screens. Actually, I also used to play on a big TV because I didn't know any better, and then I was also recommended to play on a smaller monitor. I think at the time I was recommended to play on a monitor by Swali, I believe, when I met him in Cape Town. And I started to make the adjustment, as well as figuring out that pros actually played on the smaller monitors. So I wouldn't say it's going to be harder to play on. It's going to be something to get used to, but once you do, you will notice a vast improvement between a smaller monitor and a bigger screen. The most important thing is when you do adjust to a smaller monitor is that you find one with a low response rate, like 1 or 2 milliseconds, so that there is little to no input lag. And adjusting the screen settings is the second part of his question. We are not allowed to adjust the screen settings, only the in-game brightness and contrast levels and safe areas as such. Only the Black Ops 2 in-game settings, so we weren't allowed to adjust the brightness on the actual screen itself. Then the next question is LAN really different to online, and how so? LAN is very different to online, especially in our country, in South Africa, where our connection speeds are not that great when compared to internationals, and playing bigger distances from, say, Cape Town to Johannesburg, that you have higher latencies and whatever, and that the game has such a host advantage. So playing on LAN is very different. Even so, to the point that some guns are are more online based than they are on LAN based. For example, the AN94 is still good online, but on LAN I found that the gun is just so power. As well as when you play, there's like a movement speed as well that feels a bit different. It feels a little bit slower, if I'm honest, playing online. As well as when it comes to hit detection, you have to be quite a bit more accurate online and sort of predict and aim in the direction in which the enemy's body is moving in, so to say. So you sort of overcompensate on LAN, and you undercompensate on, you can undercompensate online because of lag compensation. So the hit detection boxes can actually drag behind, and you can still kill players once they're behind walls or objects. Okay, this question: why did we get dicked against Unite so badly in that first game? Sure. So it's actually, you know, not taking anything away from those guys. Obviously, they pro players. They get to play this game a lot more than we do. So, and well done to them. I mean, they've got powerhouse players, you know, like XtaZ, second at MLG Dallas, almost got MVP there, I think. When I watched it, I heard the commentators say that. Then they had guys like Tommy and Gunshi, who on the Europe scene have been around forever. I mean, Gunshi was in the previous COD XP final. So, I mean, that brings on to their point of experience. They just have a wealth of experience playing on this LAN setting, playing against so many different competitive teams. I mean, if you look at just the number of teams we have playing online, they have way more playing against. Oh, check this 4-piece holding down this hard point. Anyway, they have, I mean, MLG had something like 250 teams register at Dallas. That is just on LAN. That is just ridiculous. So it's just that experience together with their skill and everything like that. So I mean, that was the main reason. Then the secondary reason, I would say, obviously nerves. I mean, but that comes with experience. Playing in that environment is just, it's so different. So I mean, there were cameras in your face. You were being introduced on stage. You know, the lighting and everything. You know, there was sort of flashy sort of moving lights. Just playing in that environment, different from sitting in your room in the comfort of your own home, just playing with mates online. It's a lot different. So that's why we got digged so hard against United, if I'm honest. Who do I think is the best player? If I have to choose one player from COD Champs itself who I thought was the best, I'd have to say Parasite. I think he just came up clutch in a lot of situations that just made his team that much better. My favorite player though is I like Miracles. I like the way he plays, and he's that good for somebody who's just started attending LAN events, and he's just got such a booming personality, which helps a lot. And then final question I have that I want to sort of end off this commentary with is, you guys had the opportunity to be a part of the very pinnacle of Call of Duty gaming. Looking at what they had in LA and what we have here, what do you think needs to happen for SA Gaming to reach that level? This is a very good question, and I chose this one specifically to sort of end off this commentary with, and I think it's very, very important. What we definitely need is more LANs. I know everybody's been saying it, but it's definitely that. Before the tournament, we went down to Cape Town to play just against a whole bunch of pickup guys on LAN, and that was our first time on LAN. And we got to experience just the difference in LAN, but there's another element to this tournament style of play, is we have to experience that LAN tournament, you know, where you're playing for something when something's on the line. I think that is a bigger difference as well. That's where you see some teams come up against other teams and just have that mental edge, you know, i.e. Optic, Envy. They've always been those teams who've had that mental edge. And I think that's important, what we need to move further. I mean, we can't keep having the situation where online tournaments dictate that teams are better than each other and more accomplished than one another. We need this online because we need this LAN, because personality plays a big role in it as well. You'll find there'll be some guys who'll just excel on LAN over others because people can't play out of their comfort zone. So that would be my suggestion, as well as to have something like MLG where you have an established organization that is running these tournaments. That is very important. Thanks, guys, and that's all from me. And I'd again like to thank the sponsors for hosting the event, and the guys that sponsored us, equipment. Big up to them. I'll put all the links to their various companies in the description below. I'm out. Peace.